And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for being here. You can find these videos not just on YouTube and such, but also on iTunes, Podbean, FreakinAwesomeNetwork.com, and on ManicExpression.com as well. So yeah, now my cat wants to come back into the room because, well, why not? Because that's what cats do. They want to come in, they want to leave. Why don't you pick a side, you little kitty? Why are you keep doing this? You want to leave and then you want to rub against me and such. You see, this cat, I swear, he does things what he wants to do. He does it when he wants to do things. You know, that's what cats are. They sit there and they do whatever they want. All right. Okay. Now, since the cat is here, okay, the cat is here, and all the stuff is here. Let us talk about the New Mutants, because you know my cat Huey, he's all in. He's all in on that. He loves it, right, Huey. You wanted to see this movie when it first came out, right? You're ready for it. But yeah, this movie has been on a roller coaster because it was originally going to come out on April 18th. They were going to do supposedly going to have a they pitched a potential film. It looked like it was going to be a film trilogy. Now it looks like it's going to just be a standalone. I don't know, but they delayed it for whatever reason, because I think it was because they said the reshoots to make the move for scary. Then let's see. Supposedly, it was going to be because again, the pre-production and development, they were going to have this whole. Okay, it was going to have a lot of interesting. They were going to have these New Mutants and such. That's what it is, the New Mutants, which there's going to feature Wolfsbane, Magic, Cannonball, Mirage, and Sunspot. And that is going to be the main cast. Those will be, they were going to talk about this, and this whole thing started. It was going to be April, but then they used a state hospital, which is pretty good. I like that. They like to use actually a state hospital to actually film these things. It looked like something could be really good. It also was originally the Medfield State Hospital was also used for Shutter Island. That was interesting. And it was several weeks later, the studio announced this stuff. I'm about to look at Wikipedia, so this could be taken with a grain of salt. Who knows? But yeah, here it is. They say yada yada yada. They were going to put these a lot more. They were going to put this. But yeah, There was going to have. Who else was going to be? There was going to be a lot of people here. But then they cut. Let's see. All right. Rosa Dawson was going to join the film as Dr. Celia Reyes, but then she was not cast. They just said no. She was originally going to be cast as that, and then you have Alicia Braga. She was going to be replaced as Reyes in her place. Okay, and then it was going to be the script film, so it has not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, final shooting script had Josh Zempler, Chad and Carrie Hayes, Seth Graham Smith, and along with a 6-person writer's room that Fox hired to generate ideas for the film and tear apart the script and put it back together, because that seems to be Oh Lord, that's always a good thing. That's always a good sign where you had to have multiple writers and multiple things to come into it, and such. Is a descriptive all from the full horror film that believed that Josh Boone, director Josh Boone, and um, and let's see, supposedly Josh Boone and Kenneth Lee, they wanted a full horror film, which I know what, that would have been nice. A full horror superhero film. I think people would have loved to see that. A full something like that. And supposedly, the main villain was going to be Demon Bear. It was going to be just trying to have that type of psychological horror to it, which looks to be um, something really good. It said and it said supposedly in a interview, Josh Boone noted that the Demon Bear was a personal villain for him as a kid because he was raised by very religious parents, and they were, he said they believed in the rapture, they believed the devil was real, they believed in demons, so he wanted to put that type of element into the stuff here, into this movie, which is admirable. But it looked like it was going to be it wanted they just Boone and Keith, they wanted to make this a full horror film, but Fox was reluctant to. Surprise, surprise, into a compromise version. Well, yes, because that's what you need. You just a meet down the middle without no blood or scares and more young adult focused. AKA, let's try to get the Twilight slash, all the young Arthur people and stuff there. Not the Twilight stuff. Let's see. What was that? What are these young adult movies? Let's see. Let me look. See. Stuff like, for example, Divergence and The Maze Runner, and that sort of thing, and Darkest Minds, which I'm getting that type of stuff here. I'm getting that Divergent, Maze Runner, Darkest Minds vibe from this, from Fox, which is not surprising. Are you surprised, boys and girls, by that? No, you're not. Anyway, so yeah, they created sport. They said, okay, and this is where it was like, it says right here, supposedly 10% of the film was shot using green screen, which is cool. He was going to use as much more practical effects, and he said right here while working on it, as I think he said here, Boone said he wanted to create as many effects practically as they could. It had some big visual stuff, but yeah, they want to do something. It could be more the horror films they grew up with, instead of the horror films are out now, especially when the ones are out now. Well, But then after filming was wrapped, and the Fox chairman and CBO, like Stacey Snyder, compared the setting of the film to a Breakfast Club detention cuckoo's nest and meets the cuckoo's nest in institutional setting. It's a haunted house movie with a bunch of hormonal teenagers. If you haven't seen a superhero movie whose genre is more like The Signing, then we're teenagers, let's save the world. Oh, yeah. This is not. I'm feeling that pit of despair with this. But then he said it was they delivered a cut he was happy with, and then 3 days intentional filming, and they like, okay, we got this, and they looked at scary elements. It looks great. It looks like they look like, in the end, they actually wanted to make the film more horrifying and such. But then, in the vision, after everything else, after the test screenings and situations, but nope. It said that it was influenced by Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Warriors. But yeah, this film is set in modern day. It said he wanted to make the Demon Bear into Warlock was not in the film, but he said he wants to do a sequel with him, that character. Um, then this is the first pushback after everything else. It was pushed back to February 2nd, 2019, because they didn't want to avoid with Deadpool. So yeah, that sort of thing. Two X-Men movies same time. Not good luck. But then Fox again delayed the film's release to March 2018, moving it away from the February 19th to the release date for Dark Phoenix to April 2nd, 2019. By then, the reshoots required for the film were believed to be more expensive than they previously considered, with the studios now wanting at least half of the film to be reshot, because that's going to be great. And Studios focused making the film as distinct as other entries in the series as Deadpool and Logan. They want to be like that. They did not want to. They said right here in the this is the Wikipedia says, while avoiding the film becoming a flop like Fantastic Four in 2015, went through similar production issues. In the industry insiders believe New Mutants would not end up the same way due to Fox not blaming the issues on Boone as the studio did with Fantastic Four director Josh Trank. It was also because the studio was allowing Boone to write and direct the reshoots in order to complete his original vision. In addition to the reshoots changing the tone of the film, they were also set to adjust an antagonist subplot in the film. The New Mutants were originally going to feature the Access Corporation, which was teased at the end of X-Men Apocalypse, leading to a post-credit scene as with John Hamm as the villain Mr. Sinister. But then Fox decided against this during the following completion of the principal photography of the film, so the reshoots would include a new post-credit scene introducing Antonio Banderas as a different villain. And the reshoots were expected to begin in the end of September of 2018. And the audience really embraced the emotion of the superhero. Looked like it's going to be a horror film. But then Disney bought Fox. And then, well, boom. And then again, and then the Hollywood Reporter revealed that the planned reshoots has still not taken place. And there were none planned so far. And the report indicated that further movement of the film appeared to be dependent on Boone, and there was a chance the film may not be released per its Fox release schedule. And it appeared to be on Disney Plus or Hulu, both streaming services owned by Disney. And then, CinemaCon 2019, Disney confirmed the film was still planned, but indicated the release date could be adjusted to better fit within Disney's huge schedule. A month after that, the studio pushed the film release back to April 3rd, 2020, and the reshoots were set to take place later in 2019. Kinberg explained that the reshoots had taken so long to schedule because the creative team was still deciding what to reshoot and because of difficulty finding the cast together again due to their commitments to various TV series. In August 2019, they said unimpressed with the New Mutants we had limited box office potential. At the end of the month, this was reported to be studio's impression of the original cut in the film. Further work has been completed on the film since Disney's acquired it to align with the film with Boone's original vision. Test screenings has been positive. In addition to making the film more frightening, these changes, including removing connections to the X-Men films, is reported to give Disney Marvel Studios an option to retroactively include the film in the MCU. But we don't know. They say it may or may not be, and they say that it's going to be the styles. It says based on trial you've seen, the style of Marvel Studios appeared to have an impact on the tone. So yeah, and that's how we got here. But here we are, and I saw the trailer. But yeah, the trailer looks more horror based. It looks like a superhero horror film, which, okay, you will say, well, we had horror elements, Blade. We had horror elements in like Hellboy and and stuff like that. But that's all. I honestly want this movie to do well. I want this movie to be something interesting, something that actually does something to shake things up. I mean, I honestly, quite honestly, Marvel needs it because they could do the big stuff here with the Avengers, but I want to see them do something really good with this whole New Mutant stuff. I don't know what they're going to do if this is a big super, what type of stuff is going to be, what type of horror stuff can they do? what are they going to do in this horror type of thing? My hope is that with movies like this, you have more genres comic books need to do, because you can do the bit of action stuff, but I want to see these characters in horror situations, psychologically horror, psychological, emotional, and these type of things. These things that just you don't need to have a huge impossible threat, a huge looming threat that they can't see, but also the emotional journey that these characters have to go through, and make them likable and care about them. Not like in these other movies and horror films that say we need to make the monster the big hero, or someone like, forgetting the fact that the 80s and all these great horror icons and stuff, the people had to be likable, at least entertaining in these. Without the entertaining kids and such in the Jason movies, they wouldn't care. Like, people were like, oh, it's nice having them kill Jason killing everybody, but you making these characters so unlikable, I have to root for them to take down the villain, which is more interesting. No, you make the characters interesting, and when you make the characters, they play off each other. The villain is interesting, and also the characters are interesting as well. That is what I want to see from them. That this movie is making horror that type of interesting. Let's see how these characters work together to take down this impossible, horrific threat. And not only that, see what type of their issues that they are using. That could be something really good. And I don't know how they're going to fit into the MCU, but if this does well enough, I would not be surprised that this might be the first true X-Men movie to get into the MCU proper. I think that will probably be very interesting to see. And if Marvel does this right, who knows, maybe some good horror stuff could be used in other mediums and stuff. That sort of thing. If this does well. If not, well, they could just dust that off and just do the typical X-Men movies and typical stuff like that. So that's I don't know what else they're going to do here, but if the New Mutants is going to be a success, if the New Mutants are going to be good and maybe something really good and horror based, I hope that this actually builds this stuff up. It's something really good. Anyway, that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. And thanks to new people, the old people, and everyone else in between still following me here on TalkShoe and everywhere else. Thank you so much. This is Dukect here. Peace and love. I will see y'all when I see y'all later.